Hey everyone, Heidi with Purple Cactus Counseling here. Today I want to talk about bringing down intense emotions quickly. We're going to look at the DBT skill TIPP, which stands for temperature, intense exercise, paced breathing, and progressive muscle relaxation. Now these skills can be used whenever we are experiencing what feels like crisis of emotion with that intensity feeling like it's overwhelming us in order to bring it down, help us get back to feeling centered, feeling stable, and able to make better decisions. So let's start with bottom here. We're going to look at progressive muscle relaxation first. So this is where we tighten and release muscles in order to burn off extra energy. You can start top to bottom, going through different muscle groups, You can start with your feet up. What I like to do, especially when I'm working with kids, is do all the muscles at once when we hold them really tight till we're shaking and then let go. And I like to call it the Hulk. Sorry, Marvel, but I like to call it the Hulk. So what we do is we kind of hold everything as tight as we can. Feet extended out, legs, everything is tight until we are shaking and can't hold it anymore. At that point, we release, and we can feel this calming sensation through our muscles in the body. Now, whatever works for you, there is no right or wrong here. If it's specific muscles that you feel, go ahead and start with them. But the goal here is to burn off that intensity to allow us to feel more relaxed and able to function better. It's also really good when we're trying to get to sleep and we feel a little agitation within our bodies. Moving up, we're going to talk about paced breathing. I personally like to use elongated exhale breathing and not necessarily counting breaths here, especially if we're feeling intense emotion, because it's really difficult to breathe and count and pay attention to this when we're feeling like we're in crisis. We want to listen to our body and just get it regulated to where we can function. So with elongated exhale breathing, we take a deep, comfortable breath in, we pause at the top, and then the goal is to release the breath at double the time in which we took it in. May not be that easy to do when we're initially feeling that crisis, but as we're doing the breathing, eventually the goal is to feel our body start to relax, reduce the muscles tension here, and everything just kind of lets go as our body moves back into that typical regulated functioning. So what that may look like is pause at the top. Now that was a really quick version of what that process pretty much feels like. Remember, do it in a way that works with your breathing to where you're not fighting yourself, but actually allowing yourself to get that feeling of regulation. From there, we move into intense exercise. This is not going out and running a marathon. This is just basically burning off some extra energy to bring those emotions, that intensity of emotion down. It can mean going for a walk out in nature, doing some jumping jacks, doing some push-ups, sit-ups, jumping rope, playing ball out in the yard. Whatever works for you to get moving and burning off that energy, it will work for you. It's all that matters. Now, the last one is our temperature skill. And the temperature this is extremely useful for anger, urges, such as urges for self-injurious behavior. When we feel this intense urge and emotion, what really works is putting coldness on our body. Now, the temperature itself, if we're feeling that intensity of emotion, our body really can't maintain that heat or emotion if it has to put all its energy into cooling it down. So however this works for you is what works. Some suggestions are taking a cold shower, holding ice cubes, putting ice cubes in a place to where we typically would self-injure to help us feel satisfied and cool that area and bring that intensity down. I like to use ice packs, and I also have some rollers here. But for people who have to go to work, students who have to go to school, it's not always that easy to bring down emotions when you're in the middle of class. But if you are able to bring a lunch bag with you, and if you have some ice packs, I have a little ice pack right here that I like to bring with me to the theme parks or anywhere else I'm going out in public that might cause some anxiety. And what this is, it's a little sleeve that goes over these ice. And what we can do is put it around our necks, put it on our chest, put it anywhere that is a heat factor. And then what we like to do is pair that with the breathing. Letting our body regulate and bring down that intensity, that heat of the emotion as quickly as possible. Another tool that we have here, these are designed more for headaches, but they work really, really well. We have some rollers, and these get kept in the freezer. So for people who self-injure, people who know that they have intensity of emotions, whether anger or other types of emotions that cause them distress more frequently, it's really nice to be able to open up the freezer, not have to think about it, bring this out, and then just roll it on the skin. Roll it anywhere you feel it, neck, chest, anywhere that you are feeling the intensity, the heat of the emotion. And that helps bring down the intensity and allows the brain, body to come down to regular functioning to where you can make better decisions and be able to manage that crisis more effectively. All right. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope these tip skills will help you for your next episode of Intense Emotion.